Let's oh fuck. Let's look potentially slightly more alive if I am actually going to film this. Oh, that looks so even. It's crazy that made that much difference. I'm probably the only person in the world who can see it, but let's just scroll to the bottom of my good. Oh no, why is that the first book? Okay, anyway. Ooh, how does anybody start a YouTube video? Seriously? Oh god. I am finally making a booktube. It's been a long time coming. It really, really has been a long time coming. The amount I talk shit on social media about books, you'd think I'd have a booktube by now, but I don't. But now I do. So, here we are. Oh god, this is so cringe. Oh, how does anybody do this? Like, it's not the act of like making a YouTube video that's hard, right? Because like I'm talking to the camera now and I'm totally fine. It's the introduction. It's the introduction that's just so cringy. So this is what we're doing. It's cool. No introduction needed. My name is Casey. I'm an artist, and a reader, and that's basically my entire life. I write, I play video games. I just finished uni, so I'm unemployed. Yay! Dead air. All of this is dead air. I have a little list of questions in front of me that people answer for this tag. I'm gonna skip one of them because what are some fun and unique things you can bring? I don't know. What does that even mean? I don't know. We're all fucking weirdos. What do you want me to say? The first question I can answer like 3 of the questions for. So I'm just gonna do that. I want to start this channel because I like to talk about books. And I like to talk about books because I fucking love books. And it's basically my only hobby at this point. It really is. I just want to talk about books all the time, and I like finding out about new books. My books to read list is egregiously long, so quite frankly, don't give me recommendations. I don't need them on the list. I really truly don't. It's like, truly I don't think that this can be called a hobby. I think it should be called an obsession, because I am not only a book hoarder, I am also a book consumer. I drag them into my soul and I keep them there forever and ever and ever, even if I hate them. Almost especially if I hate them. If I hate a book, that motherfucker's going into my grave with me, because I will remember every single aspect of the plot. There's one book in particular that I'm thinking of there. That's a different video. What books or series got you into reading? So, I read all the time as a kid. I was the little weirdo who sat by themselves in the playground reading a book instead of socializing with children my age like I was supposed to do. I was the kid who was reading like 4 grades ahead of where they should be and kept getting in trouble with the librarian. Yeah. But I stopped reading for a really, really long time because there's actually a story to this. Basically, I, at like 11 years old, tried to like be really smart and elitist and, you know, what's the word? Pretentious. I, at 11 years old, was trying to be really pretentious, and I forced myself to read Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, and it didn't go well. Listen, I read a lot of books. There's not a lot up here. There's not a lot going up here. At 11 years old, I had no idea what Miss Austen was talking about. I hadn't got a clue. I literally was so confused the entire book. I didn't know anything that was happening. It took me like a year to read the motherfucking thing. And then straight off the back of that, because I wanted to continue trying to be pretentious. I mean, not necessarily. I just wanted to read vampires. I tried to read Interview with a Vampire. straight off the back of Jane Austen, and at 11 years old, that was not a good choice. I don't know if I was 11, I might have been a little bit older, but either way, not a good choice. So, God, what is this? So, I stopped reading for a really long time. The only thing I remember reading between attempting to start Interview with a Vampire and the first book on my Goodreads was Percy Jackson. The first 5 Percy Jackson books, I loved them. And then I don't know why. I started reading Lost Hero and then just stopped. I stopped like halfway through, I think. Oh no, I finished The Lost Hero and then got like halfway through not Sea of Monsters, that's the first series. Halfway through, it's right there, why am I not just looking? Son of Neptune, and stopped reading. I was like, nope, this isn't, I can't do this right now. Which is ironic, but yeah, so, and then I stopped reading for ages again. The first book on my Goodreads is Norse Mythology by Neil Gaiman. Oh no, he's such like a... Anyway, no, it's so annoying, because it was actually alright, it was actually really good. But we move on. The first book I remember really enjoying was Law by Alexandra Bracken. I obviously love mythology. So during lockdown, like just before lockdown, I was actually studying classics at sixth form, which is like 17-18 for international viewers. I was doing a class in ancient literature, so we were studying like the Iliad and things. I've always loved Greek mythology, and as you can probably tell by the first book on the Goodreads list, I'm interested in other mythology as well. I just don't really know very much about other mythologies until I read that book. I still mostly specialise in Greek mythology, but that's like my one big area where I'm like, I want to know everything. I want to know everything about everybody. Never gonna happen. Never, ever gonna happen. Ever. But that's my goal. That is my goal. Anyway, so Law is a Greek mythology book. I don't really remember loads of it. I read it in 2021. So it's like, I don't even know how to describe it. So basically every 7 years, each of these families, who I believe are all descended from the gods, they have to like fight. That's such a bad description. Basically, it says that I'm reading the description because it's been such a long time since I read this book. I remember really enjoying it, but it's been such a long time. Oh god, it's been almost 5 years. God, that's horrific. Okay, moving on. Essentially, the gods are punished by being sent down to the mortal world, and so they sort of sectioned off to work with their descendants to like keep them alive. And like over the years, a lot of them I think have died, and then I think the leader of the house takes their place, or whoever kills them takes their place. Her family was murdered by a rival line, and she wants revenge. I don't know. I remember like one scene, I think, from this book, and it was really good. This is so bad. I don't remember what it's about. That's so bad. That's so bad that this is like the book that I consider the book that got me into like back into reading, and I don't remember basically anything about it. I take notes when I read, so the book that shall not be mentioned was the first book that I started note-taking for, which is why I consider it like the first book. Anything past that I have notes for, except some of them. But we don't need to talk about that. Traumatic, it's fine. I remember like 2 scenes from the book, and both of them have like stuck into my memory. Obviously, I'm gonna try and keep my reviews as spoiler free as possible. I try and keep them as spoiler free as possible on Goodreads as well. So I can't really talk about what scenes they were because they're like massive poignant scenes in the book. But like even then, like the memory I have, like the imagery in my head is like so vivid. So vivid. And I just remember it's the first book I have rated as 5 stars because I really loved it. I really, really enjoyed it. I tore through it, if I remember correctly. Norse Mythology took me 4 months to get through. And then, so the book in between them is The Midnight Line by Lee Child. That took me over a month. And then Law, I got through in like 3 days. Which was crazy at the time. Like, I hadn't read anything for years and years and years. And like, Norse Mythology and The Midnight Line, I had to like chip away at them. Like, it was like I remember The Midnight Line, I read a lot of that on holiday, and I remember I like would go to the beach and read a couple of chapters, and that would be like enough. That would be like, I'd be like, I'm so over this now. That's not the case anymore. I have questions. I've prattled on about this one book that I don't even remember, and there are more questions. Ooh, challenges for starting a book, keeping up with it. I have had 5 different YouTube channels, all with different topics, and I've never actually stuck to any of them. But hopefully I'll stick to this one. I definitely have a lot to say, I think. But do I? I don't know, because I feel like whenever I watch like a booktuber, they've always read like 100,000 books, and I'm like, hee hee hee. Any other challenges? Knowing what videos to make. I don't think I'll be very good at like recommendation videos where it's like I recommend you like a list of books. I don't think I have enough in my repertoire at this point to do those kinds of videos. I think they'll mostly be, here's what I read this month, here's what I enjoyed, here's what I think needs to go in the bin. And I think that's going to be fun. I do think that's going to be fun because I like chatting shit. Not necessarily bad shit, but I just like chatting shit. I already said when I started reading. Sorry, I skipped ahead a couple of questions. I apologise. Where do I read? What kind of question's that? I read in bed. I read in my office. I read when I'm waiting because I try and arrive places ridiculously early because I'm scared of being late. So I read then. I would read waiting for people to turn up to my classes, but I no longer have classes. I'll probably read on breaks when I do eventually get a job. I don't read on the bus. That's a big hurdle for me. That can be a booktube hurdle, is reading on buses, because I get a bit car sick. I'm usually okay on trains, but I don't live outside of the city anymore, so I no longer need to get trains as very often. But I have read on the train. I heard a weird noise. That freaked me out. I don't like that. Ugh. Let's close that door. Let's close that door, shall we? There we go. What kind of books do I like to read? Okay, so mythology, that's up there. Particularly ancients. I'm really into my ancients right now. I've read the Iliad, read the Odyssey. I've done bits and pieces there of plays. I'm planning on doing a reread of the Orestaia at some point. I've put it on my Christmas list. But whether or not my family gets it for me, that's a whole other matter. The Bacchae is on my list for this year, hopefully. But I have also not really been feeling short books this year, so that's yet to be seen. But yeah, really into mythology. Would love mythology recommendations for anything that isn't Greek mythology. So Norse retellings I'm really interested in, because I've really only ever seen Greek retellings. Like, that's obviously super popular right now and has been for a few years. But if there's any Norse retellings, I'm very interested. I do have a couple of books. I have one on the Celtic myths and one on the Egyptian myths. But anything that's on any other kind of mythology, very interested in. Also, as I say, any ancient texts. I do plan on reading the Poetic and Prose Eddas at some point. I also have the Ramayana and Mahabharata on the list. I don't know if I'm saying those right, I apologise. But for ancient texts, that's really it. I find it really difficult to find ancient texts, so any classics, I will eat them up. So if you have any recommendations, particularly on where to find them, because the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, I'm really struggling to find, like, copies of them. I know that they exist, and I guess also, like, finding good translations of a lot of the texts is important. The version, I've read 2 versions of the Iliad. I couldn't tell you who translated either of them. The main one I've read was the penguin cloth bound edition, same for the Odyssey. Honestly, if you know of a copy of a book with a good translator, I'm there. God, that was so much for just one genre, and I have like 3 others, 5 others, whatever. I don't know. We'll find out. I'll find out with you. I will find out with you. I also really love mystery, obsessed with mystery. I am currently slowly getting through Agatha Christie's collection. I've read the first 3 Miss Marples. I'm planning on doing Miss Marple first and then doing Poirot. But I'm kind of holding off because I'm a little bit like, oh, I might wait until October to do a few of those. I did the first 3 last year for October. But yeah, super into mystery, love my mysteries. I literally sit there with like a pen and paper drawing out mind maps to try and work out who the killer is. Even if I know I'm never going to get it, I'm still going to try. Sort of a tag along with the mystery is horror. I've recently been really trying to dip my toes into horror. I'm really bad with horror movies. I've never seen a horror movie. The only horror movie I've ever seen was A Woman in Black when I was like 13, and I slept with the lights on for like 3 weeks. I'm so bad with horror movies. But I decided to try reading it instead. Basically, I watched a D&D YouTube series that was like supernatural horror, and I really enjoyed it because there was no like visual imagery. It was like my own imagery, and then if it got a bit too much, I could just stop imagining it and just listen to the words instead. And I was like, oh, maybe I can read it. Maybe I can read, because my problem is that when I watch it, the adrenaline forms itself into like anxiety for me, and that's not a pleasant feeling. Like, I don't get the fun adrenaline. I just get really bad, please get me out of here adrenaline. So reading, I've discovered, gives me the good adrenaline, which is very nice. So I've read a couple horrors. Really love The Shining by Stephen King. That's probably my favourite so far. I also read The Elementals by Michael McDowell really recently. So that was also very good. Also, big genre for me. I'll give you one guess. I'll give you one single guess. Fantasy, obviously. Obviously it's fantasy. Obviously. Look at me. I'm a fantasy girly through and through. Love fantasy. I love it. Can you pick it up? I love it. I recently read Lord of the Rings. Finally, I finally read Lord of the Rings. Loved it. Loved every single second of it. That man drones on and on, and I ate it up. Oh my god, they're so good. The Two Towers was my favourite. Sorry. I know that everybody's a Fellowship girly, but I'm a Two Towers fan. Biggest fan. I love the Ents. The Ents are the best thing to ever cross my path. In this world, I want Treebird tattooed on me. And I'm serious about that. I actually really want it Treebird tattooed onto my body. I'm trying to think, are there any other genres that I am particularly interested in? I know everybody's going to want to hear romance. Unfortunately, I've never been done right by a romance. Every romance book I've hated, it's been a flop. It's been a big old flop. Even romantasy, look, I know it's controversial. I know that I'm going to lose people. I know that you're not going to trust me after I say these words. I enjoyed ACOTAR. I did. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I read it a while ago. I also have Throne of Glass, but that was bought for me as a gift. But I did enjoy ACOTAR. It was one of the like very first. I read it in like 2022, and I got through like the entire series in like 2 months, which was a lot at the time. Like I just started uni. In fact, no, I think I finished it just before I started uni. I was like so enjoying it. I don't know. I hadn't been pulled into books like that for a long time, and like maybe I wouldn't enjoy them as much now. But I mean that's yet to be seen because I do have Throne of Glass, the whole set to read. I got the box set for Christmas from my mum, so that is yet to be seen whether or not I do enjoy Maas's writing now the same way I did then, and maybe I do. That's okay. That's fine. I just know that she's very like her books are very controversial. Like some people love them, some people would die for them, and some people would kill you for saying that. So sorry, but on the whole, don't tend to be a romance girly. I actually just finished book 1 of. I actually have the second book here. I just finished book 1 of the. What's it called? I finished Spin the Dawn. That was the first one, and this is Unravel the Dusk. This is like romantic-esque. The first book wasn't a massive hit. I enjoyed it. Wasn't a massive hit. I'm gonna read book 2 though, so I can't hate it that much. The only other one I can really say that I would really consider like romanticy is These Hollow Vows and These Twisted Bonds, but I could not tell you anything about those books. I don't remember a thing. So I think I read those like early 2024. Couldn't tell you anything. But yeah, romance. Me and romance haven't got on. I keep trying. I do keep trying. What was the... Oh no, I know which one was the last one I read. Have I read any before that? I enjoyed that one. I enjoyed Red, White and Royal Blue. That one was quite fun. Cheesy and the most idealistic world I've ever read in my life. But fun. That one was awful. Yeah, that was the last one I read. Maybe I'm just really scarred by Will They Won't They. Really bad. Really bad. Did not enjoy that. I DNF'd it. The only other romance that I have, I believe, is Check and Mate, because there are a couple of YouTubers who I would live and die for, who are very honest about their sort of unpopular opinions about books, and they really enjoyed it. So I was like, I'll give it a go. I trust you with my life. I found it in a charity shop and I was like, why not? But other than that, but yeah, so I've never read a romance that hasn't been the worst thing ever. I can't stand unbearable characters. I can't. That's not correct. I can't stand unbearable characters where it's not acknowledged within the story that they are unbearable. An unlikable character, love. Like an unreliable narrator, love. Yeah, I like unlikable characters. I like characters who are supposed to be like arseholes or like annoying, but I don't like it when the narrative doesn't treat them like they're being annoying or insufferable. Where it's like the character is actually being the worst person I've ever seen in my life, but the book's just like, but they're fine. Or worse, but they're actually the best person ever. And I'm like, no, they're fucking not. Like, why are you trying to trick me? Oh. That's it. That's it. Outros are almost as bad as intros. Almost. But to be fair, I can just cut it here if I want to. I really could. I really could just cut it here. Crikey. Oh, God. Okay. Maybe I could actually get something out of this. Who knows? Why do I keep saying reason? Oh. This is painful. This is actually painful. I don't know why I keep saying it like that. That isn't how it works. Norse mythology by North. Filming's weird. I feel like there's somebody in the house with me just because I'm filming, but there isn't. Awful. What kind of books do you like to? I've really put myself now. Let's close that door. Sort of a tag along with the Mistral. Oh god, I'm out of breath. How do people do this, man? The twin towers. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Let's roll that back. The Two Towers was my favourite. The Two Towers was my favourite. Oh no! That was horrific. I might just re-say that whole thing, to be honest. That was 30 minutes. What the fuck? It's mostly just me ranting about Greek mythology, though, isn't it? It probably is just me ranting about Greek mythology. I might refilm this whole thing.